Hey everybody, welcome back to the WAC podcast. My name is Spencer and
I'm Meredith. Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back. We always mess it up when I start
Sorry,
it.
we're so it's fine. We are so excited to be back for our 5th episode. Dun 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 dun. Yay! We have a lot of good stuff that we're talking about. Last week we had our Halloween episode. If you haven't watched it, please go and check it out. Actually, I texted Spencer yesterday. We got 342 views on our video. Not sure why, but thank you guys so much for watching and listening and following and subscribing. It makes my heart and our heart so happy. So what are we going to be talking about today? Episode number 5, November 2nd.
Well, you just mentioned the date, November 2nd, which
I did.
very relevant.
Segue.
We don't really want to talk about politics a lot on this podcast and specific things like that, but since we both live in the United States of America,
We do.
tomorrow, November 3rd, 2020, is a very important day because, for our overseas viewers, which we probably don't have, November 3rd is Election Day, and that's when we get a new president every 4 years. And this year has been a very controversial year, just like every election year, but this year specifically.
This one is really, really, really difficult.
It's been a crazy 2020.
Yes, absolutely.
And the election is here to finish that year off. And we have a special guest with us here today who's actually going to be talking to us about some of the things that our college campus is doing to cover the election. Grant, you want to come up here?
Yeah, welcome Grant Hines. Yay! So Grant is one of our really good friends that I do our news show with, and we're going to be actually student anchors on the broadcast tomorrow night. It's going to be a live broadcast on YouTube, so we will put that link down below, and Grant will talk a little bit more about it. But we decided to bring Grant on because he does the politics segment on our news show here at our university. So Grant, why don't you tell us just a little bit about what's going on with High Point, what's going on in the country right now, just to kind of give everybody an idea of what tomorrow will look like.
Yeah, so just to give a preview, or kind of to backtrack a little bit of what High Point, the school, was doing
Yep.
To participate in this election. We did this thing, we partnered with the Campus Vote Project this year, and we actually, there's like an office in Student Life now that, there's a position, Dalton Lucas, he's the Campus
really good
Voter
friends.
Coordinator, I think that's his position. And he got hundreds of students to register to vote this year. It was a nonpartisan position, students all across the political spectrum to get out and vote this year. So I really like to commend him and the Office of Student Life for doing that
yes.
this year.
Dalton is
this highly contested election year.
Yes.
Yeah. But about tomorrow, HP All Access for the first time is going live from 7 p.m. to 12 a.m. On election night. It'll probably be the biggest and longest broadcast that the School of Communications has ever done.
Holy cow.
It's so exciting.
We'll have anchors from all sides of the political spectrum. Personally, right behind the set, I'll be providing updates on polls and any results, if any, if we get any, for the night. We'll have we'll have like 7 cameras, more than the usual 4 that we usually have. We're going to be interviewing a bunch of local candidates and students from the college, Republicans and Democrats, to just kind of get their input and what they think about this election. So yeah, it's going to be a really exciting night. I'm sure. Oh, and you'll be there too.
I will. Yeah.
Our own Meredith Vieira will be hosting, or she'll be interviewing a couple people during the night.
Super exciting.
Just to fill in the time during the night.
Yes.
But yeah, that's that. So let's get to the predictions.
Yeah, it's crazy.
This has been a highly contested election.
And before you get started, I just
Yeah.
want to say that I have been on social media, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and in Washington, D.C., it is like people are boarding up their
LA,
businesses.
New York. Yeah.
People are just like so scared for what's going to happen with the results
But
tomorrow.
you've had a lot of people come out, like the Proud Boys have come out and said, like, if Trump doesn't get the presidency, like, we are rioting in like country or cities
then,
across the
and
U.S.
it's scary.
There was an
It's
incident
really
in
scary.
Texas, I think it was Houston, I know it was in Texas though, where a Biden-Harris bus got ambushed. Vice President Biden or Senator Harris were not on the bus, but one of the staffers' car got like totally, like they just sideswiped the staffer's car ambushed the bus. I think they were going from one city to another. It was terrible. And the police did nothing about it, which was absurd.
It's just, yes. And, no matter who you voted for, no matter what you believe in, this should not be as serious and taken violently as it has been. So talk to us a little bit about what the early voting is like, because I know that is a huge thing with how many people have been early voting and doing it before tomorrow.
Yeah, so actually I just found out today, the state where I'm from, Maryland, you can actually early vote up to today, the day before the election. And if you're not registered, you can actually go and register and vote in the same day in Maryland on election day. And actually North Carolina did that too. You could register and early vote on the same day. I don't believe you can register and vote on election day though. But of course, many of you have been watching the polls, and if the polls were correct as of today and probably as of tomorrow, Biden would win the election, but obviously the polls don't vote. But some exciting news, if you do believe in polls, is that Biden has reached over 50% in most national polls, a milestone Hillary Clinton never got to in 2016.
That just blows my mind, because I remember just a controversy about with Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump and how the early poll kind of dividing.
And we were shocked.
Shocked. And now with early voting, it's even more drastic than it was 4 years ago.
Yeah, and we do have record early voting numbers, around 95 million. As of today, 95 million early votes have been cast, compared to 58.3 million in 2016. And Democrats are more likely to vote early and by mail, so that's a promising sign for Joe Biden. And according to the U.S. Elections Project, in 20 states that report party affiliation, most of those early votes in those 20 states are Democratic. But obviously party affiliation doesn't mean that you stick with the party and vote for your candidate in that party. But as we've seen, a lot of Democrats aren't really breaking ranks or party, especially when it comes to Trump.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So as far as election night tomorrow, we may not know who the winner is for days, weeks, maybe at least a month.
That is I think what a lot of people don't understand about tomorrow night. They think if Trump doesn't win, we're gonna riot. If Biden doesn't win, we're gonna riot. And we're not even gonna have a winner by tomorrow night. We knew by 2:33 a.m. that Trump was president in 2016. So it's just
and some sources are saying, and this hasn't been verified, and we don't know if it's true. They think Trump because early voters or Republicans are more likely to vote on election day. It's going to look red.
And then it's going to balance
early in the
out.
night, about midnight, it's going to look red because those mail-in ballots haven't been counted yet, which are most likely Democrats. So it's going to look red about 1 in the morning. So they think what he's going to do is declare victory, even though all the ballots haven't been counted. And he's going to try to stop those ballots from being counted.
A lot of people have said he's going to try to call fraud, too.
Yes. There have been a lot of rumors about what he's going to do, and also Biden as well. And it's just, you never know what's going to happen.
But again, we may not know for days, weeks, months. But actually a ruling, the Trump campaign and also the Republican National Convention tried to challenge a ruling right here in North Carolina that says ballots can be accepted up till November 12th, as long as they're postmarked by 5 p.m. on election night.
Oh, wow.
They're trying to challenge that now. It's going through the courts now. We don't know what happened with it. But I actually, right before this, I saw an alert that said, a news alert that said a judge has struck down has denied that Texas can throw out about 127,000 ballots. So luckily they will be counted.
That's good.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yep.
And before we go on, I'm not sure if you want to talk about this, but what I've noticed is how much of a toss-up state North Carolina is this election.
Huge. Yeah.
I was looking this morning, and it was, I think, a 0.2%. Biden had a 0.2% lead, which is literally neck and neck.
Yes.
And North Carolina, I mean, Trump won the state in 2016. I don't know if Barack Obama won in 2012.
I think he did.
I
think he did.
And some other promising news is that Barack Obama also won Florida both times.
Oh, wow.
And Biden is up by a few points in Florida today and recently. So that's looking promising for him as well. But yeah, I mean, Biden is up in the polls. He's up in the polls nationally. He's up in a lot of swing states, but we truly won't know until election night.
Yes.
Basically.
It's yeah.
And probably
it's
not
crazy.
even then, honestly. If we
Yeah,
if we have a lot of late mail-ins,
Like
and
I
stuff
said,
like
with
that,
the ballots, with all these mail-in ballots, record numbers
Yeah.
of mail-in ballots. So again, yeah, we really won't know.
But what also is really interesting is that this is our first election that all three of us were eligible to vote in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like that's a fun
Yeah,
fact.
first general, yeah.
I'm 21 and you're 19 and you're 19.
too.
I'm
Yeah.
old. But I thought that was like a really cool fact because my parents have always talked about voting and everything, and now we actually got to cast in our vote as eligible.
And that's another reason.
American voters.
That's another reason this election is huge too. But it's like I think it was. Now I don't know if this is true or not, but I read somewhere it's like we have the biggest first-generation voter class in like American history.
Yeah.
It's like 31 million
Yes.
Americans.
More
are now
Gen Zs
eligible.
are
Yes.
eligible to vote this
Yeah, it's
election.
insane.
So
Huge
right
numbers.
now, I want to show this to the camera. So if my lovely Sam dear could go to camera 2 so that she could show this. And Cole, if you wouldn't mind zooming in on this map. I don't know if I need
Yeah. You
to
gotta turn that
brightness.
CCUD
Yeah.
unit down.
Oh, okay.
There you go. You got it. It's
Oh,
good.
okay, cool. The yellow states are the major toss-ups, and then obviously the blue states are Democratic, and the red states are Republican. Purple, I think, is likely Republican. Light blue is likely Democrat, and then you can see that. What is
Well, it's
this?
actually
Nebraska?
it's light red.
just-
It looks purple on there, but it's light red on here.
Oh, Montana.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can see just how much North Carolina is a huge toss-up state.
Yeah.
Texas and Florida, I didn't know, and also Pennsylvania looks like it's leaning a little,
Yep.
Democratic this election. But obviously, you know that. Obviously, you know that California is always going to be blue. New York is always going to be blue. Alabama will probably always be red. You know,
I'll be
things
surprised.
along
I'll
those
be surprised
lines.
if Texas comes out blue.
Yeah.
North Carolina, I don't know
That'll be a
about.
huge shock, and that
Yeah.
carries. I think
I
we're-
would be
Is
really-
it 29 electoral votes they have?
They're big.
What?
Texas?
T-
How many?
38.
30. Yeah.
38.
They carry a lot of weight.
Yeah, I
in this
wouldn't. I
election.
would be really surprised if Texas came out blue as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But well, I think. Is there anything else you want to say to anybody about voting or?
No. Vote.
Not really.
Obviously.
Yes. Vote,
Please vote.
please.
Check vote.org. If you go to HBU, check HBU Connect for Turbo Vote. But please, however you need to, wherever you are, whoever you are, vote. And then at 7, tune in to HBU All Access on YouTube for our election night special.
Yes, absolutely. If you're watching this on YouTube, we'll put the link down below so that you guys are able to watch it. We'll try to upload this tomorrow, Tuesday, November 3rd, before 7 p.m. so that you guys are eligible to watch. Absolutely. But Grant, thank you so much for being here.
No
We
problem.
love you. Thank you so much for talking all things politics with us. We appreciate it so much.
Yay.
Yay, absolutely. Thanks so much, Grant.
Bye-bye.
And now he's going to go stage manage for us. That's so fun. But crazy stuff about the election.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this is
year
insane.
is insane. It doesn't matter.
It's
It really does not matter
insane.
which side you're on. It is crazy.
Literally.
Like through and through.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
Crazy stuff. So now kind of getting into a little bit more fun topics. We wanted to talk about politics just because it's the day before Election Day, and this is our first, this is our first election that we were eligible to vote in. But now let's kind of get into some more stuff. We have gotten a huge influx of people either around our campus or just people telling us that they love conspiracy theories and they love crimes and like mysteries and stuff like that. And that was probably, I'm going to take a huge jump here. That was probably one of our favorite episodes that we recorded. One of mine favorite
It was
episodes.
definitely my favorite
Yeah,
episode.
it was
I love
probably
that
one
kind
of
of
my
stuff.
favorite episodes that we recorded. So Spencer and I both have a conspiracy theory that we're going to talk about. If you haven't watched the last video, please make sure to go check that out on our channel. But as for now, do you want to kind of get things started about what you want to talk about with the conspiracy theory you are? So last time he talked about the Denver International Airport, and I talked about the QAnon conspiracy theory, which is also really tied to the election and politics.
And we
but-
had some people who believed that I believed in QAnon. Mr. Santos commented about that. Thank you, Mr. Santos, for that comment. I loved it.
Yes.
And I don't believe in QAnon, so
Yeah.
for the most part.
Neither do I, but we're just kind of talking about huge conspiracy theories right now in our nation and going around. So what do you have to talk about to us today? Pitch it to me. Let's see if I think if it's real.
All right.
All right.
Today is big. This is
It's big?
This is big.
Okay.
Like, you thought Denver was the size of Manhattan. This is the size of, like, 2 Manhattans. This is big.
Like space.
So this is really crazy, but it's the theory and the conspiracy theory that we are living in a simulation. And you're probably thinking, whoa. You're like, this is really weird. Like, I have a conscience, Spencer. Like, how in the world could this be fake? You know, how could we be, like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But, okay, one of the biggest reasons is the fact that you never know what other people are thinking. And you are not aware that other people around you are sentient beings. Now, you're probably thinking, like, well, yeah, I do. Like, the people around me have feelings and emotions. But the problem is you don't know that, and you never will know that because you are not inside my head, and you don't know what I'm thinking or what I'm talking about.
Are you trying to give me a panic attack right now?
I'm trying to give you, I want the anxiety should be through the roof right now.
No, but when you think about that,
that's a big part of
it's
it. It's
true. Mm-hmm. It's 100% true. Like, I am feeling, spoiler alert, I am feeling very anxious right now, and you will never feel feeling
anxious.
Like, you will never feel my anxious feeling.
Nope.
You can feel your own, but you'll never feel mine.
And there's like the age old question of, like, what is reality? Because everything's subjective. Because you believe something's one thing, I believe it's the other.
Yep.
You think red is red, I think red is blue. Whatever the
don't even get me started on that question.
But there are a ton of reasons why people think that we're living in a simulation. One of them is, like, electrons. They can't make up, like, their minds is what a lot of people say is, like, they don't know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And the reason why is because there are electrons that pop in and out of existence. And, like, quarks is what they're called. I think it's quarks.
Okay.
But they'll pop in and out of our dimension. So there are more dimensions that we don't know about. It's like physically or scientifically impossible to reach that 4th or 5th or 6th dimension. So what happens if we're on that 3D dimension? You know, everything's 3D to us. Reach out, touch it, feel it, smell it, grab it, whatever. Mm-hmm. What happens if there's a 4th dimension and we're being controlled or we're being taught or we're being influenced by beings that we don't know about? Because we know the 4th dimension exists.
We do.
It is real. It has been proven to be real, but we can't visit that dimension. We cannot be in it. Just like we can't be in a 2D dimension or a 2-dimension.
We can't.
We can see things and we can create things on a 2-dimensional plane, like, you know, a drawing or an 8-bit video game or something like that. But we can't physically, like, visit that plane. Mm-hmm. So how do we know what's on the 4th dimension? And I think it's proven that there are up to 9 dimensions, but the 4th is one that's talked about a lot. I'm sorry. I'm
sitting here and I'm soaking in this information and I'm like, my entire existence is being questioned.
Yes, and so I'll move on from that because I'm gonna be boring.
Okay.
There's another theory that video games look like real life, and Elon Musk actually is very famous for posing this, and he said that once we reach the point where video games look so realistic to us, we will never know reality from video games. And so what happens if we're already at that point? What happens if that happened 800, 1,000, 2,000, 50,000 years ago and we have not disconnected from that reality yet? What happens? Because you can't remember anything before you were born or before a certain age. Like, there are just some things you can't remember. So at what point, you know, like, we have no way to know and we have no way to prove.
Oh my God.
And there are different theories that, like, the Matrix is glitching because we've had things like crazy happen. Like Donald Trump won the election in 2016. That was something nobody predicted and nobody saw coming. Uh-huh. And a lot of people believe that, that was a glitch in the simulation and Donald Trump shouldn't have won and whatever. And I know that's political.
Yeah.
But a lot of people question, why are the rules in our universe? You know, what determined gravity in the first place?
Yes.
And some people say religion. You know, there's a God out there or a being or a deity that controls everything and laid the baseline. Mm-hmm. Or something else determined it. Something had to have determined all of those rules.
And it comes back to the question of, like, where does everything come from. Yeah.
Exactly, because people go, oh, well, 2 meteors. Well, where do those come from?
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, they came from 2 bigger rocks. And you're like, well, where do those come from? And they're like,
Yeah.
well, an explosion.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Well,
well,
where did
the
yeah.
atoms and everything come together to make that explosion? They're like, well, it just popped out of existence. And then, well, where did existence come from? And then you're like,
You're like
going
having
on?
a
Like, you
panic.
don't know-
You're like,
yeah.
I can only go so far. And
I
then you
know.
just like slowly hand them the Bible.
And then there are also examples of people with the Mandela effect, and I'm sure you've heard about that.
Oh my
where it's
God.
you remember something one way, but it's actually the other. Like a lot of people believe that Nelson Mandela died in a prison cell back in like the 80s, and he didn't die until recently. And so everybody's like, whoa, like this is crazy.
Or that
and-
like
and-
Albert Einstein lived in like the 1700s and he was alive in like 1943.
Exactly.
Or what
the
is it?
Berenstain Bears? That's
what?
another one.
Yes. What is the Snow White one? Is it like Mirror, Mirror on the Wall? When in the actual like Walt Disney movie, it's Magic Mirror on the Wall.
Yeah.
That one freaked me out. Yeah, there's a lot of like Mandela effect things that really I'm like 100% positive this is what it is, and it's completely different.
But that's basically the conspiracy theory. I tried to keep it short because a lot of it is very brain racking and like annoying.
And when you try to think too much about it,
You
you're
just start crying and break it down.
you just literally start crying.
But it's, there's a lot of evidence for it.
So what do you
Personally,
think? Like researching it, like do you think like some of that may be true? Like do you think there actually is a fourth dimension?
Well, yes, I definitely believe in different dimensions because they have been proven to be real. They are real. But the problem is we don't know what's on them. So honestly, I can't tell you what's on the 4th dimension or the 5th or the 6th or whatever. I don't know anything about the quantum physics and all that other stuff. I'm not smart like that.
You know who we should ask?
So who?
Ant-Man.
Yeah. Hey, she's a big Marvel fan. If you guys didn't
I'm
know
a big
that.
Marvel fan
we
and
forgot
a
to throw that in
big.
the last episode.
Oh, I did. We should go back and like
Our
edit it
running
in.
joke is gone. But yeah, it's really weird, and I personally, I can't say yes or no because I have no way of proving any of the stuff that I just talked about.
It's just kind of like, it's the same kind of question. Like, is the Big Bang Theory like real, or is it God? You know what I mean?
Because there's no way to prove for sure that the Big Bang happened, and there's no way to prove for sure
that God is real.
that God is real and there's a deity that created everything. Like there's no way to prove either side, and this theory fits right in between those two.
And that's what really freaks me out.
Yep, it's insanely weird.
Yay!
But let's stop giving ourselves headaches and let's talk about yours.
Okay, so kind of on a little bit of a different note. One conspiracy theory that I'm going to talk about, it's kind of like a mystery. It's the UFO sighting and mystery of Flora, Mississippi. So this happened in 1977 in Mississippi, and there were 24 officers that were just working out in this big, I think it was just like this forest area, and they saw a UFO literally flying above the ground 15 or 18 feet. And one of the officers who was there that day, he was interviewed by a news station in Mississippi. They kept his identity completely like identical.
On the low,
or on the low, it was, and he says it was approximately 15 to 18 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
It was blue in color. It was kind of metallic. It was kind of like a metallic blue. Portholes around the center of it, shaped like an old spinning top kids used to use. So like the spinning top. That's what he says. And about 24 enforcement officers saw this incident and witnessed it and said like it was a thing. One really weird thing about it, it's 2020, this happened in 1977, is that the incident, multiple articles say that the people who know about this or were actual witnesses of this sighting don't talk about it anymore. So there was this gentleman that was listed on the website of WAPT in Mississippi. He said his uncle was one of them that listed it, and if you ask him about it today, he says like he doesn't talk about it to like anybody, like he doesn't want to talk about it or anything like that. They are pretty sealed about sharing any more information or just overall the experience of seeing it. And another thing that is maybe proof that it was actually some kind of weird sighting or that it was a weird, that was a real UFO is that to this day, right in like the sighting, there are 2 rings about 15 feet in diameter, says one of the officers, that are adjacent to each other, and nothing like of life or substance will grow there to this day.
So weird.
Yes, so right around the place where the UFO is, those 2 circles that are about 15 feet in diameter, no matter how hard they try, like they say that nothing like of substance or life will grow there. Right?
That is so weird.
Isn't that weird?
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So that was my conspiracy theory. It was in Flora, Mississippi in 1977. I think that UFO sightings or like some kind of alien talk, I think that is so interesting.
Yeah,
because
super
just
cool.
thinking about like, it's so weird to think about that if there is like, if we are able to be here on Earth and like survive with 7 billion, it's more than 7 billion people on this planet, there 100% has to be another
it fits
one.
back into that theory, just like I was talking about, of the unknown. You know, everybody loves it. Like, what's the unknown? You know, you
Yes.
figure out who's what,
Yes.
what's what, who made what, why
And
is
the
what.
day
You know?
that we find another Earth with humans on it, or
that'd
exactly like us,
crazy.
wouldn't that
That'd be
literally be
weird.
insane to just see like how different they made everything? Because like we do, you know, United States, you know, North America, South America, continents and stuff like that. What if they did it completely different? Do you know what I mean? Like that would be, I feel like that would be so cool or so weird. I think that UFO sightings are like alien, like I said, alien talk.
Oh, yeah,
It's
that's
just like,
that's super cool.
it's
yeah.
super, super cool. It's super weird. So that was our conspiracy theory talk. What is anything else you want to jump into or go into?
I mean, I don't really care.
Yeah.
You have a couple questions that are very interesting.
So when we had our content manager, Ryan Stewart, as a guest host on the episode, I think it was episode 3.
Episode 2, yeah,
It was episode 3.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He had us give a little Q&A, and then he asked us some meaningless questions and some unpopular opinions and stuff like that. We decided we wanted to continue that topic a little bit more. So we have a list of just some meaningless questions that we kind of wrote down that we'll kind of go a little bit in depth to talk about. What is one that's catching your eye right now?
You asked question number 6. Why didn't they list the word gullible in the dictionary? I feel like this is a trick, and you're trying to get me to believe that gullible is not in the dictionary.
It's literally not. Wait, Grant, can you look it up? Is gullible in the dictionary?
Gullible in the dictionary.
It was one question that was like
Exactly,
I
that's what
I
I
just
just
looked up
said.
like meaningless questions like on
It's
like
gotta be a prank. There's no way, because gullible has a meaning. It's gotta be in the dictionary. So you're gullible for putting this question. They got you. They got you real good.
The Oxford languages, it means easily persuaded to believe something credulous.
Okay.
so it is in the
And
dictionary.
you just got
That
absolutely
website
played.
literally lied to me.
Well, I bet you if they're you know what? The people who made that website are probably watching right now, and they're like,
And they're laughing their
Yeah.
butts off.
they think it's so funny.
Okay,
Do fish ever get thirsty? That's a weird question.
they can't.
No, because they're surrounded by water. There's no way fish are able to like.
They
"Man,
can't."
I need some water.
What if they just
Like it's so dry in here.
What if they just start drinking? I had a fish. I've had 2 fish. I've killed both of them, so I can't.
Alright,
I don't
nice.
like fish. But that was a really weird one. It's like, do fish ever really get thirsty? I don't think so because they're naturally just underwater. But you know, like the show SpongeBob doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's because it's a kid's cartoon show, though.
But
Like, it's
still,
Paw,
they have an ocean.
Paw Patrol doesn't make sense. It's what the
I've
dogs
never
that
seen
go in
Paw
West-
Patrol.
I haven't either. But I'm saying like.
I thought you were sitting here
Shoot.
like, Paw Patrol's my
kinda-
show.
I kind of gave myself away. None of the kids shows make sense. Like,
No,
you can't
literally,
you can't even.
literally.
You're quoting SpongeBob as like a point of reference. That's how you know your argument's wrong.
Oh, this is an interesting one. Why do we use our driver's license to buy alcohol and or some kind of drugs when we are actually driving, we are unable to use both of those substances?
Well, don't we just have to be like, your driver's license is a form of ID, and you have to have identification to have paraphernalia or whatever it's called, like
Yeah.
substances, because you have to be of age to use that substance.
Yes.
Okay, well, there you go. Mythbusters debunked right there. You basically just got your question
Debunked?
destroyed. We're going to do like a little debunk sticker. Boom.
Yes, just like, no, but like when you think about it, it's like, why not have a specific like identification thing that you use?
For those substances.
Yeah, instead of like using your driver's license. Like, your driver's license should be the only thing that you just use to drive. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Do penguins have knees?
Look up the anatomy of a penguin.
Grant, do you think penguins have knees?
Anatomy of a penguin. Let's see. They have knees, all right.
But
They're like tucked up in their
they
chest.
don't.
Yeah, they do. They definitely do. Look at those knees. Can I zoom in?
What?
Yeah, look how weird that here for the camera. Look at
Dude, look at that anatomy though. Like that freaking thing, it just.
Does that mean they're able to like physically extend those knees and grow like a foot taller? And we just don't know.
And they're literally just like waddling around. No, because their back, like the vertebrae on their back, like it wouldn't support it.
Interesting.
Oh what my God! See,
so
that's
cool.
how they would walk
Wow.
if like they extended.
Yeah, that's
Penguins
really
are weird. I don't
like
really
that.
like penguins that much.
No. They're really tall. They are.
If they
Penguins are
if they
monstrous.
extend their kneecaps. Oh wow!
Yeah, look at this guy. Big old guy. Big honcho. That's crazy.
I
Okay.
know. No, absolutely.
Well, let's do one more. Let's
Okay.
do one more. We're
Okay.
coming to a close here. On time.
What is something that smells better than it tastes, or vice versa? Or like something that tastes better than it smells. Bacardi.
I would say, yeah, alcohol probably. Well, depending on what kind of alcohol.
Yes.
Some of it tastes better than it smells. Some of it smells better than it tastes.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna out myself right now. I love canned tuna.
Holy cow.
I literally, it's so easy and it's so good for you. And let me tell you, it smells disgusting.
It smells like straight butt, like butthole.
But the stank, the fish
stink
stank.
is
But
It stinks nice and good.
But I think it tastes really good with some Duke's mayo in there.
Yummy. Great. I don't know what my answer would be for something that tastes better than it smells, other than like alcohol or something. But you could do. I mean, I guess you could say. I think some garlicky foods taste really good, but smell like feet. They smell
Yeah.
like crud.
Yeah. Garlic is so good on pasta, but they also make your breath just like.
It smells terrible. I don't know why.
The essential.
Is water smells bad? Onions. Okay, I think onions taste great. Like saute up some onions, or like throw them on a steak, or throw them in like a salad. They taste great
Really?
with stuff, but they
Yeah.
don't smell like good. Because you cry when you smell onions.
I literally was cutting up onions last weekend. I was making spaghetti for my friend, and we were at my house, and she started crying because she was like sitting right there making the sauce with
onions,
me,
yeah.
and she was like, "Are you okay?"
I think it's onions and garlic. I think they can both taste like really good, but they smell pretty bad most
Yeah,
of the time.
no, for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that's everything. Honestly, we're at like 35 minutes.
We are?
Oh, we are killing. I don't have a timer, but I looked at the time. We started at-
7:23. Oh, we're killing the
we are
game.
killing the
Okay,
game, guys.
awesome. Well, why don't we close it out for this episode?
For sure.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We're so happy that you guys tuned in. If you guys enjoyed everything, please make sure to follow, subscribe, everything along those lines. We will put our Instagram. My Instagram will be like, I don't know, you put it somewhere in there, and then you put your Instagram.
I'll put yours here.
Okay.
And mine will be here, right in front of us. So you'll
And
know
we
who
are college kids. Here.
Perfect. Yeah.
Oh, and Grant, who was our special guest for politics, who also is hanging out with us.
Oh yeah, I'm
and
gonna leave a
doing-
link to HPU All Access.
Yes.
And my Insta blog is Insta
Yes,
And
and
I'll
we
put
will.
his in as well.
We will, and we'll also tag your Instagram. We'll do a little graphic thing and everything. But thank you guys so much. We hope you guys are staying safe and healthy during this time. Remember that no matter what happens with the results of the election, everything will be okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.